It's written, when Saul took command of the troops, he said, God is putting you to test by means of a stream. Anyone who drinks from it does not belong with me. Only those who do not taste it belong with me, unless it is just a single sip. They drank from it, except a few of them. When he crossed it with those who believed, they said, now we lack the strength to face Goliath and his troops. Those who were conscious of meeting God said, many a small army defeated a large army by God's leave. God is with those who are steadfast and persevere. So when they faced Goliath and his troops, they prayed, our Lord, grant us steadfastness, strengthen our foothold, and support us against the disbelieving people. They defeated them by God's leave, and David killed Goliath. God gave him kingship and wisdom and taught him as he willed. If it were not for God's support of some people against others, there would be chaos on the earth. Pluto opposes Mars. Fighting the final boss. The final boss. I made it through all these levels. I came all this way. 6 months. 6 months of exercises through Chiron and all of the antagonism and agitation to the identity. Everything and everyone telling me what I can't do. I'm not good enough. Oh, what if? It'll never happen. It'll never come to pass. Oh, that can't be for me. If only, if only. So much opposition to the identity we endured. Here it is. Here it is. The physical therapist asked us to put some pressure. A little pressure on the injury site. Can you bend? Can you jump now? Okay. Let me see you run over there. You are healed. We are healed. We went through the physical therapy. It was painful. It's like the pain was worse than what even caused the pain. Understand? But it was a necessary pain. Sobering, awakening. Here we are. Do you remember who you are now? Do you remember who you are now? Are you interested in being true to yourself? Being authentic? The crowd is still there. The bandwagon is still there. The public opinion is still there. The propaganda is still there. Where is your mind? Where is your imagination? Where is your identity? Where is your understanding? Where is your personal expression and mission and goal? Where's your purpose? Who are you? And when will you become interested in being yourself? Final boss. Final boss. You see, final boss is Pluto is the final boss of the timeline that we're coming out of. Pluto's manifesting such. And that is the ability to reclaim power that you invested so deeply, that you wove so deeply into that Capricorn theory, into that South Node. false identity, false light. That south node Luciferic light. Not only are you waking up to authenticity, but a wave of light is moving throughout this earth. People are waking up like never before. Look at the propaganda of democratic left liberalism. Oh, he shouldn't have said that. Astrology is astrology, baby. I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, and I know I'm not popular. I'm certainly not popular. I'm probably not likable. But I would like to know that I am respectable because I'm honest. Understand? Everyone is waking up to where the deception has been coming from, where the lies have been coming from, where the falsehood has been coming from, where the manipulation has been coming from. Everyone is waking up. They're waking up to the fact that sugar and honey can disguise the taste of your own demise and entrapment. Down goes feminism. Down goes capitalism. Down goes Rothschild and Rockefeller's dream. Through the construct of liberalism and democracy that manufactures the consent and thought process and attitude and sentiment of the people. Propaganda and manufacturing through media. Down it goes. Down it goes. The final boss. What ties do you have invested in it? In your life? A system, a government, a culture that no longer stands a chance to live. A snake with its head cut off and the body is still moving, so many believe that it's still alive. The chicken with the head cut off and it's still running, so many believe that it's still alive. Oh, wisdom is something not to be taken for granted. Not to be taken for granted. There is bliss in ignorance. Final boss, final boss, final boss. There is reinforcement for you. There is support for you and what you have to fight. But you see, fighting is not going to be through the density of the body. It's not going to be through the flesh. This is through the spirit. This is through the spirit. Did you learn yet to see in spirit, to navigate in spirit, to show presence in spirit, to know who's who in spirit? Did you learn yet, Luke Skywalker? Is the force with you? Grab your lightsaber. Did you learn yet? Cancer Mars. You see, Ogun can't fight the way he wants to in Cancer. There are feelings to consider. There are sensitive points and angles to honor. There is humanity to preserve in the self. Although you are full of ambition, but there's also a culture a demand for emotional security, a demand for a renewal of culture through Cancer. Where do we go from here? Because wickedness has taken over. Lack of consciousness has taken over. There's no guilt anymore, and there's no shame about what darkness we create, sow, and move about with. There's no more regret about the offenses to the soul, the offenses to the heart, the offenses to the children, the offenses to society. There's no more guilt or shame about it. We wrong the children. We wrong society. And through laughter and clapping, propaganda and media, it's okay. No matter what evils we invent, it is okay. The instincts are being revived back to its original nature through Scorpio. And the instincts have a connection to what allows us to survive and thrive, as well as what we need to deem ourselves as civilized. And that is through the oracle of the woman's being. With feminism now being over, the power of the woman will now be known. The power of the woman will now come to redeem and restore us. The power of the woman. We didn't see yet what the woman can really do. We didn't get to see yet who she really is with feminism in the way, but we're about to see. She's something that will amaze every one of us, including her own sisterhood, will stand in amazement at realizing who they really were all of this time and what they had with them. And that there was never a reason to be envious or jealous or in competition with a male counterpart, because what she has with her and who she is indeed something to envy in a beautiful sense. We're about to see real women move light and power throughout the world. And it will not be in the way that feminism has worked to destroy families, identities, weak arguments, confusion, delusion, making weapons of children, making weapons of court systems and government operations and institutions, weaponizing all things in society. No, that's not a woman. She's a guardian over humanity. Ma'at. She is the preserver of the values and principles that sustains an attitude of civil union. The spirit of diplomatic relations, the attitude of etiquette, the will of modesty, the argument of chastity, the symbol of mercy, the oracle. There's something unique about power, as we're speaking about Pluto. And what is unique about power is how we make agreement to a possible reality that someone or something can inflict harm or damage upon ourselves or our life. And once we come to believe that something or someone can do us harm or damage, power is manifest upon you from that person, even if they are not the ones who leverage that power upon you. Through your own mind, you can give power to that person over you by what you believe of the capability to do you harm or damage. It is the same with circumstantial matters. And this is the issue at hand. Can I express and create according to my authentic realization of myself without suffering harm or damage from what I used to rely and depend on in the infrastructure of the past timeline, Capricorn, Pluto? This is what is being expressed. Authority is a theme and a lesson and a force that must go with the lessons of power. When you have authority, you understand that authority moves power. And you understand that a person may not have power, but if they have authority, they can use the person who does have power. Therefore, the solution for us all is to remain in authority. And we know that authority is understood through Saturn and Saturn themes and algorithms. Saturn, in this case, our obedience, our discipline, our order, our structure, our integrity, our character. It is up for transformation and upgrade. We have to recreate our character and recreate our strength and reconfirm our authority. That is where we are. Saturn shares both territories of Capricorn and Aquarius. And our authority of the inner ring of Capricorn has indeed been tested. And now we can't seem to find a way to use that authority to move the power that poses threat over us if we should act on the Mars and Cancer that is impulsing through our willpower. Therefore, Pluto is redirecting how you relate to power through the outer ring of Saturn, which suggests innovation, mastery, collaboration. Understand, authenticity, and expressing oneself through the Aries as a bearer of water, therefore finding your service to humanity in that wisdom. Because the water bearers of Aquarius are bearers of wisdom. Understand, there's something that you have really been fighting for silently. There's something that you've really been going to war for silently, or at least preparing yourself for war. But there are powers of that past world, of that past life, of that old timeline that will not let you fulfill what's in your heart to do. That Cancer Mars, it's a silent war where the emotion is turning and something is telling you, I've got to get there. I've got to accomplish this. I have to become. I have to rebirth myself. Oh, righteous anger, righteous anger. If only. If only. I know I have right to it. Not entitlement. But I know I have right to it. I know it's what I need. I know it's what's necessary, essential for me to have security. I can sense that the world behind me is dissolving. It's fallen. I can sense it. And I'm trying to take cover in a new one. And I'm willing to create it. I'm willing to reform it myself. And for some of you, that could look like particular relationship matters that are very difficult to sort out and make sense of. Going to war with so many feelings and emotions. I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want to offend that person. I'm trying to move around it. For some, it's a process. I don't have the competence for this. I don't have the experience for this. I don't have the resources for this. I just need a little help, a little support. Some time. Some time. Something of that old world is pushing power against your creativity, power against what you're willing to work so hard at, demanding your time and your energy, demanding your vitality, demanding everything that you got that you prefer to put in productive ways, a productive motion. And it just so happens that this is in Cancer, the place where you realize emotional security. There's something at that Mars transit where we all realize emotional security. And in opposition is our commitment, our eighth house commitment to parts of this world whose time is up, whose hour is finished. What do you do? How do you finish it off? How do you close this? That answer is being gifted to us. You see, Venus knows everything that you desire. She knows how you want it. She knows where you want it. She knows the color. She knows the flavor. Yes, she does. And who is a greater diplomat than Venus? Who's a better negotiator than Venus? And it just so happens she's in Sagittarius, where freedom gets expressed. Ah, how ironic. And she's meeting there with her sistren, Pallas Athena, the well-seasoned war veteran who has the scrolls of Mars in her hands, the scrolls of Jupiter in her hands, the scrolls of the moon in her hands. And as Venus is communicating to her on behalf of your astral body and what you are longing for, longing to experience, feel, smell, taste, live through, possess, give, of relationships and of resources. Venus is telling it all on your behalf. And Pallas Athena, who has the greatest strategies from the depth of her experience, and she has concentrated herself in Scorpio in a direct motion, a retrograde motion, and direct motion again just this year. She knows where your mind is at in Scorpio, as Pallas Athena spent 3 passes in Scorpio this year. She knows where your mind is at. Pallas Athena also knows where your heart is at. She fought in that territory 3 times. Direct, retrograde, and direct again before she went into Sagittarius. So Pallas Athena knows how to relate to what your mind and your heart cannot seem to fathom. find its way through the depths, the dark, cold waters of Scorpio, the distant power that we're trying to bring closer into our grip. Pallas Athena knows. Tell me more, Oshun. Tell me more, Venus. What else does she like? What else does he like? What else are they longing for? Well, I know some ways. I know some ways. I also know where freedom is at when I'm here in Sagittarius. I know the way to freedom. I know how to break him free. I know how to break her free. I know how. Is that what they want, Venus? No problem. I will break them free. Pallas Athena is going to find the way to break us free. And it's being produced in the mind and the heart at Scorpio at this time, and Juno is going to come into Scorpio to give us a deep connection to this war strategy. The rebel, the revolutionary, risen by Pallas Athena, who's informed by Venus on your behalf for freedom through Sagittarius, freedom in the name of truth, the spreading fire. Oh, what a passionate effort that's about to dawn. Book of Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that by testing, you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Scorpio, your mind is there with Mercury. Your heart is there with the sun. A renewal is taking place of our mind and of our heart. And that renewal will end us as the warriors, the revolutionaries, the rebels. What is your call? What is a calling that is upon you? Your ascendant, your Aries placement. What is the calling upon your life? Your heart, soul, urge, number, or vibration. What is the calling on your life? Your North Node. What is your calling? Where are you to go with it? Where are you to take it? Your life path. What is that vibration? What does that say about your calling? What revelation have you received that you're digesting and contemplating on right now? What is that revelation? Uranus gave you a revelation from high. Pluto gave you revelation from low. What are those revelations in your life? That is what you ought to be a revolutionary to align with, to confirm, to defend. That revelation. The rebels. What is your cause? What is your cause in your life? You know what it is. Aries Chiron, you've had the pushback, you've had the rejection, you've had the resistance, the doubt. Penalized, scrutinized for not conforming to. rebel, revolutionary. I know you're in there. I know you're in there. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Pluto, standing between two worlds, standing between two timelines. Behind Pluto, a world set on fire, up in smoke. Down goes Fraser. Down goes Fraser. A world that no longer has a pulse. Like a bottle of fragrance turned upside down. And that empty bottle still smells like that fragrance, but there's nothing in there. It's just the smell. How the disillusionment will be when so many hearts and souls who do not want to accept that it's true, who do not want to accept that that world is fallen, past tense. How that disillusionment will bring a reckoning in the heart. Scorpio, in its detriment, I don't want that to be true. I don't want that to be the reality. I don't want that to be right. I don't want that to be wrong. Warring with evidence. Warring with truth. It is fallen. It is a world that has fallen. We are between two timelines with our power. Between two timelines with our transformations. Aquarius, headed to the battlefield of where the first houses, the Aries, the Mars, gives full demonstration to the world of why God sent us down to earth. The kingdom of heaven, it really is at hand. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God. We all are there right now. Testing and testing and testing. Chiron and Aries. Oh, what a test. What a test. What a test. A test to the authenticity of the identity. How authentic are you? How real are you? How true are you to yourself? Are you real? Are you real? Are you really real? That you may discern what is the will of God. What do we know about Scorpio? The beautiful prayer of Scorpio. Father God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change. The courage to change the things that we can. The wisdom to know the difference. Testing you may discern what is the will of God. That by testing you may discern what is the will of God. What is good and acceptable and perfect. We're learning. We are learning. Mercury and Sun, Scorpio, Juno headed into Scorpio. Oh, a commitment, a devotion, a concentration, a deep commitment and deep devotion and concentration to this process. Getting aligned with our instincts, not with public opinion. Getting aligned with truth and evidence, not propaganda. Getting aligned with our nature, not a trend or a fad. Coming back home. Scorpio. Warriors are downloading. Warriors are downloading. Warriors come out and play. Huh? You seen it. You seen it. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Huh? Mars-Pluto opposition coming up. Mars-Pluto opposition coming up. We are going to marinate this energy for the rest of the year. As Pluto crosses over into a new timeline, we are crossing over under the pressure, under the fire, under the intensity of our own personal revolutions in our lives, our own personal rebellion in our lives against powers that be, and the ambition, the will to assert our own identity as an expression out into life in the world in service to the kingdom of heaven. But there are old powers and infrastructures and systems, ideals, beliefs, attitudes, habits, cultures that want to oppose it, that want to resist it. It's in your household. It's at work. It's in the community. It's in society. It's on the phone. It's on the internet. It's in the hallways. It's in your bedroom. It's at your neighbor's house. It's across the street. It's everywhere. Opposition to your righteous anger. Opposition to your ambition to secure your true soul, your true self, your authentic self into a role in this life, a role in this world that allows you to not only survive, but thrive. Changing forms, changing roles, changing beliefs, changing routes, changing habits, changing lifestyles, changing friends. Change. The inevitable change. Two timelines, cognitive dissonance, one leg in the old world, one leg in the new. We are on our way. Revolutionaries. We are on our way. David slew Goliath. Pluto is a great power. Mars and his rusty sword. One stone, down goes Goliath and a brave little boy. Don't fear. Don't worry. But be filled with love and what love really is. Be filled with truth and assert without aggression, but with wisdom. But with wisdom. Be who God created you to be. Because we all need you to be who God created you to be. Because it serves humanity. We owe it to our community, to our world, to show up authentically. We all are going to take turns playing the role. Don't be arrogant. You will be Pluto to someone who is Mars, and you will also be Mars to someone who is Pluto. Therefore, be mindful of yourself. Be mindful. Do not oppress. Do not abuse. Avoid overbearance, tyranny, oppression. Be mindful. Be mindful. Pluto in opposition to Mars, young, strong Mars is trying to assert his righteous ambition, swinging the sword in the name of truth, justice, and love, at least in how he sees it, against the system, against the order, against principalities, against forces, against darknesses, against powers of transformation that could be quite ancient. This could show up as a generational curse, habits and traditions. This could show up as a work culture or environment, institutions, organizations, demands upon you that takes you against who you are, demands upon you that puts you in direct conflict and opposition with your authenticity, that puts you in direct opposition with the truth of who you are, direct opposition with your first house, direct opposition with your Aries. What do you do now? Wisdom is the principal thing.